Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another ECH dance party, and that's what we're doing. I always bob my head along to the music there. I can't help it. Thanks to everybody for joining us for this episode of ECH post game live after that 4-0 win over the Montreal Canadiens. Seattle Kraken just continuing this dominant road trip. RJ, just no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, that's 5 wins in a row for the Kraken now, and coming out of this road trip. I mean, 4 of them on the road. This team is in a rhythm right now. We talked about it a little bit on the podcast today about how they're just able to do their thing every other day, just going in on the road, and they get it done again tonight. Just another methodical effort and getting the shutout win.
Yeah, and look, they did a fantastic job tonight. They pick up the win. You have the massive shot advantage, all of that stuff. Maddie's able to get that late empty net goal to keep the goal stuff going. But there was some times in this one where I had some questions about the Kraken, and we'll talk about that stuff later. As we first here, shout out Queen Anne Beer Hall for sponsoring this, and remind everybody one more time. This Saturday is going to be that first live event over at Queen Anne Beer Hall. So hopefully everybody can come over here and join us for that one. I'm going to go ahead and jump over in the comment section first, kind of get the feel from everybody. And then we can kind of go more in depth into this game. Cause I do think that there are some things that we need to talk about when it
For
comes to
sure.
the Seattle Kraken in this gun. But to start us off with Coop, with the yeehaw, let's go. Big shutout for Jones, and love that empty netter for Maddie. Give me all those points. Exactly. See, another 2-point game in a big Canadian market for Maddie. This is what we wanted. Absurdly saying, well, that was fun. It was indeed. Alex, Martin Jones with the shutout. Excellent team win. Would have liked to see a little bit more killer instinct on the power plays, but that's a minor quibble. I was gonna, one of the things, I guess, just because that can kind of trigger it. One of the things I wanted to bring up in total in this game is, this is a game where you dominate. Obviously, you score 3 first period goals. You're out shooting them 19-6 in the first period. This had all the makings of basically an embarrassing game for Montreal. Yep. Where we could have walked in their building and really embarrassed them. But I felt that the Kraken kind of took their foot off the gas in the second and third periods. And, if Montreal was a better team, that could have really cost the Kraken. Like that's a lot of time to be, letting off your foot 40 minutes of hockey there. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, RJ?
Well, I think you nailed it on that last point. If Montreal was a better team, the Kraken really could have paid for the way that they played in the final 40 minutes. Whether it's those long shifts that were allowed to continue in their zone. You think about the start of the second period, really good start from the Yanni Gourde line, just keeping things in Montreal's end. But they get caught out there for a long shift. They have a couple failed clears that would normally loom pretty large. They're lucky to get a stoppage out of it as the puck goes off the netting behind the net. But they were lucky to escape that shift without allowing a goal. A few rushes into the zone. I think of the Slavkovsky breakaway. I think of that toward the end. I mean, that pass across that Martin Jones made an excellent save on. But that's the kind of chance that usually goes in. So little things like that if it's a better team, if they can finish a little better, we might be talking about a different type of game.
Yeah, I felt like the forwards that last 40 minutes didn't do a great job of helping out defensively. Like the D did a good job. They stood in there. Alexiak, Larson, Borgen, like all these guys made some big time plays defensively tonight to help Jones get to that shutout. But the forwards, I didn't feel like the back checking was a high priority for them after that first period. And then, yes, only 1 for 6 on the power play. You take a too many men penalty while you're on the power play. Like, these aren't great things, and I'm not trying to just be, a downer on a night where the Kraken win 4-0. But these
ever the
that,
coach,
like,
Dylan, just
always
harping on the things to do better.
This is why I defend Dave Haxtell all the time. Sympathetic. I'm sympathetic. Radical progression. Let's go. Absolutely crazy, but fun from Daniel. Definitely. As the Canadiens were feeling a little maybe embarrassed in their own way, things started to get a little chippy there at the end, RJ.
Yep. I mean, there was booing from the crowd. The crowd clearly displeased with the effort on Montreal's side. And yeah, they got chippy in the third period. And I think it put the Kraken off their game a little bit. Not to harp on the negatives too much, but just for a little stretch there, they were watching, for those hits coming in, and it's hard to blame you, like when you do have guys knowing you're going to finish every check, you do start to be a little hesitant with the puck. But so definitely something the Kraken had to contend with.
Yeah, the other thing was that was the most high sticking penalties I felt like I'd seen in a while. Like I don't know. I guess it was only 2, but it felt like there was a lot of high stick incidences in this one.
Yeah, I mean, there were some ugly ones too. I mean, that Bjorkstrand one that got him bloody pretty good. I felt bad too because he was coming off a pretty big facial injury earlier this season as well. He did not need that.
For sure. Joey pointing out the record now on the road, 13-4-2. I mean, we talked about it on the podcast today, but this is a Road Warrior team there, and I don't see any reason why it would stop. I mean, they're just killing it right now, particularly on this road trip. Could point out that makes 5 in a row. It's true. It does make 5 in a row. Count that Islanders home game right before this road trip. I mean, Kraken finding themselves right back in a situation like that. 5 in a row, all 5 Martin Jones starts too. I mean, another thing we talked about on the podcast today, but it does feel like, every time they get these big win streaks going, one of those things that's a part of that is Martin Jones.
Yeah, for sure. And although I do worry about tomorrow, if just for whatever reason they have an off game or Grubauer doesn't play up to his best, I worry about the reaction with Jones coming off a shutout and 5 straight wins.
Yeah. Let's see. CR Bud with the super chat here. Our lines 3 and 4 were out for blood in period 1. Absolutely. That Yanni Gord, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Eli Tolvanen line was insane in this one. Like, they were outworking Montreal defense. They were just kind of thinking on another level. They were doing a fantastic job, particularly Yanni Gord, of being able to kind of take other guys out of the play. So it was really both of his wingers, 2-on-1 against a remaining defenseman. Like, it was just absolute, they were just putting on a clinic.
Yeah, absolutely dominant in the first period. And it was fun watching that. Right before the game, I was listening to Yanni Gord's media availability this morning, and he was just heaping praise on his line mates and the way that they play and the way that they forecheck, so aggressively, and how it's all very carefully sorted out. F1 goes here, F2 goes here, F3 stays up high, and they've been very good at sticking to that, and also being very intentional with when they chip the puck in. He said it's easy to just kind of chip the puck in for no reason, just to chip it in, and then you generally don't have a lot of success. But when you're really intentional with where you put that puck and how you go chase after it, then you can achieve a lot of really good things, and they are rolling on that right now.
Yeah, they really are. And then the fourth line just doing what they do always. It seems like we're becoming broken records talking about that. Thanks for the super chat there, CR Bud. Thank you for the super chat, Sean. Dylan, it was a shutout. Crack a smile. I know. I can't.
Thank you, Sean.
Studs, Jonesy, Bjorky's nose for staying attached to his face there. Jonesy again, and Vince Dunn is the man. Vince Dunn, RJ, has been playing really well. I mean, we've been talking about him, again, just like the fourth line. It feels like we're becoming broken records talking about him, but the way he's shooting the puck, and then obviously the special connection he's got now with Tolvanen that we can kind of
awesome.
all see. It's really cool.
Yeah, and I love hearing the way he talks about Tolvanen, and he's like so proud. He's a shooter. I just tell him go shoot, and she shoots. Done with the primary assist on all of Tolvanen's goals for the Kraken, which is pretty cool to see. But just the confidence from Vince Dunn. This is what we were hoping to see from him, what we've seen in little glimpses and wanted more of. The willingness to throw the puck at the net, like on his goal where it hits off of whatever it hits, but just willing to throw that puck on net, knowing maybe it's not the clearest lane, but shoot. Right. And just I love seeing that from him.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think I saw some talk about this on the Discord earlier today, and I think we're gonna have to talk about it probably on the next deep dive. But the idea of what are the Kraken gonna do with Vince Dunn now, right? Like what kind of contract do we think he's playing himself into? It's gonna be fun. It should be
making a decision harder and harder.
He really is. Up to 7 goals so far this season. Good for him. And 21 assists. That's he's having a heck of a season. And then Mo Maggot here also with the super chat. Thank you very much. No bets this game. The over was 8 goals. Oh, then good job staying away from that one. But I did get buried on Facebook for calling the shutout halfway through the first. Ooh, that is dangerous. That is
Yes.
perhaps more dangerous than any bet you could have made tonight.
For sure. Oh man, but hey, Jones got it done.
Jones did get it done. Very, you went out on a limb there, and you were rewarded for it, even if you don't get that financial reward afterwards. You at least got bragging rights tonight, and that's still worth a lot. Daniel pointing out now 3-1 against the Habs all time. See, this is why I wanted them for the Winter Classic, RJ, because I knew we could beat them up.
I mean, that's a fun little aspect to it.
Yeah, history and a guaranteed win. That's what we want. The Kraken have completed the Canadian conquest from Kraken Hawk there. Absolutely. I mean, I liked the route graphic with the victory parade as they've just kind of gone through Canada, leaving destruction in their wake.
Love to see it. I mean, this is how exactly you want to handle a Canadian road trip. It's that much sweeter being up there through Canada, I think.
Yep. Now this isn't me bringing us down. All right, it's Coop. Grubauer looking real lonely on that bench. He is. I mean, obviously, most likely, like I guess I can't say like definitively he's going to start tomorrow, but most likely we're going to see Grubauer tomorrow. And I really, really, really hope, RJ, that the same Kraken team that has shown up for these last 5 games in front of Martin Jones shows up for Grubauer tomorrow against Buffalo.
I know. I just want to see this Kraken team in front of Philip Grubauer just to see that it's possible. I mean, Grubauer has been playing well generally, or by a lot of numbers better than Martin Jones.
Yeah.
Just the team support in front of him has left a lot to be desired. And I'm worried. I am worried about the game. Just if something goes wrong, heck, even if has a good game and they lose, just another L on the record. I worry about the reaction as far as Philip Grubauer and the way that I think some of the fan base is kind of turning there.
Right. No, I understand that. Let's see. And quick reminder for everybody: tomorrow is our Patreon live game commentary day for that Buffalo game. So if you are a patron, keep your eye out for the link come game time. And if you're not a patron, maybe consider joining for us for tomorrow. It's a lot of fun. Tripp submitted 10 ballots for Vince Dunn to be an all-star every day until the deadline. He's been playing awesome. Absolutely. I mean, he's played his way into that conversation. Absolutely, RJ.
Yeah, and Tripp's great job. Good job being a fan there and submitting your vote, voting early, voting often. And Vince Dunn holding up his side of the deal too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's playing fantastic, as we've already said. Krakenhawk, this game was chippy and hostile, but fun to watch the boys put out another dominant performance. Also, I think we just made some enemies with the boys from Montreal. I would agree with that. Now, that was their home game against us. I'm assuming we don't have any other games against Montreal scheduled.
Nope, because the one in it's one in each place, and the one in Seattle was the Shane Wright goal game.
Yes, so we're gonna have to see what kind of bad blood carries over into next season. I got to think though we're always gonna have some of that, not just because of 100 years ago and Stanley Cup Finals from then, but because of the Uri Slafkovsky, Shane Wright thing and kind of where the fans are all still in dealing with that. But obviously nights like tonight also will help kind of build that animosity. And this, maybe it's not quite the stuff, what we saw tonight is the stuff that would carry over year to year, but when combined with those other factors, it could.
Yeah, I think so. And as much as, some of that narrative is kind of just, media driven, and I don't know that the teams care as much about that, but you know what the teams care about? Being embarrassed at home. It's something we saw from the Kraken at the end of last year. Yeah. And that Montreal is going to want to respond from this game, and they're going to remember it next time they play the Kraken.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a lot of booing going on in that building tonight. James, I asked this, or Gary first here, 4 in a row for Maddie. That is right. And whenever you could just go through Canada, scoring goals like that, playing as well as he has, picking up multi-point games, playing the defense, getting all that stuff going. That does a lot for you and your reputation.
And I will say, I watched the media availabilities this morning, and to both Hackstall and the players, a lot of questions about Bandy Beniers from the Montreal media.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Interesting night from him too, as he ties Daniel Sprong for the team lead in shots with 5, Very, very high number for Matty Beniers. As we've kind of been talking about, he's somebody who likes to wait and pick and choose his opportunities to shoot the puck. I do wonder if the longer this game was going, the less and less time he was had left to try to score a goal, keep the streak alive, the more he was pressing on that.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. He actually hesitated on that empty net one a little bit just to see if he could move it to a teammate. Always the selfless Matty Beniers. But at a certain point, he's like, all right, I'm shooting this puck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you always do that because you really want to get that kind of guaranteed put the game away kind of thing. But yeah, at some point, it's like, I've got the opportunity here. I can trust myself, and he
Yep.
can. He's that good. James, I asked this before almost sarcastically, but the Kraken are 16-3-2, and Matty gets a point. When he's on, the Kraken are on, bodes well for our future. Absolutely. And, Matty's going to be here for a very long time. He's going to be playing like this for a very long time. He's just such an amazing cornerstone for this team to be able to build around. And that is why you're seeing places like Montreal take an interest in him versus, say, a Tolvanen or a Sprong, somebody else who might be, playing just as hot right now as Matty Beniers. But everybody can see that this guy is special, and they know that he's going to be a special piece of this Seattle team for the next decade.
Yeah, and at 20 years old, decade plus. That's one of the cool things about hockey is if you hit on a player like this, they can be a big part of your franchise for 10, maybe even 15 years.
Yep. Let's see. From Daniel, 449 overall win percentage for the Kraken as a team after tonight, by the way. So we're getting close. We're getting back there. We're getting up towards 500 for the history of the Seattle Kraken there.
Nice.
We kind of broke through that earlier this year, the idea of just being able to be an above 500 team for the first time ever. So yeah, now we can start dragging that overall record up there as well. Vince Dunn is cooking right now. Absolutely. And then Patrick, I bet Jones didn't need duct tape for his glove, RJ.
That is true. And that might be the difference between a shutout and allowing one unfortunate goal as I did last night.
I was going to say, I'm sensing a story here, RJ. That felt like a pretty personal call out to me.
Yeah. My glove is falling apart. I love it. It's so old, but it is held together with duct tape and not even really held together anymore. Puck went right through it last night. Easy glove save, right through it, right into the crease. Rebound tapped home. Enjoy that one, Dylan.
I know I'm choking over here. If that isn't a sign, RJ, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
I know it's tough to replace that equipment. Just ask Connor McDavid and his socks that his toes are all poking through. But at some point, enough is enough. Brian, we're coming in here with the super chat. Hoping the best for Grubauer tomorrow night. Going to be tough versus Buffalo back-to-back, and Buffalo is coming off a shutout loss to the Flyers. Absolutely. That does worry me too, Brian, because you tick off somebody like Tage Thompson. That's a scary person to have to play when they're upset, RJ.
That's going to be a motivated Buffalo Sabres team tomorrow. And both teams, I think, on the second half of back-to-backs and Buffalo at home, they're going to work really hard. I cannot imagine they would get shut out 2 nights in a row, that Buffalo team that leads the NHL in goals.
Yep. No, and Jeff Skinner's there too. He's no slouch either when it comes to the goal scoring. So it's gonna be interesting. Becca with the super chat of the glove fund.
Thank you, Becca.
Oh, perfect.
That's great.
That deserves a shout out there. That's great. Gotta get that glove fund. If it's not cough drops, it's goaltending equipment, right?
I know Lindsay will thank you for that one too.
Yep. All the teams RJ fills in for, we'll definitely thank you, Becca. All right, so where was I up here? Canadiens got chippy and dirty, if you ask me, from Joey there. They did a little bit, like it's not as bad as like we've seen some teams do in the past, RJ, but I will take this as an opportunity to heap more praise on the Seattle Kraken, because in games like that Edmonton game where we just got totally embarrassed, the Seattle Kraken, to their credit, they always keep their head down. They try to work. They try to score goals. They'd rather not be embarrassed by picking up a goal or two and lowering that margin of defeat, rather than going out there and just trying to well, I'm just going to beat you up because you made me mad.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't get drawn into that too, and especially when your goalie is protecting a shutout, you want to get that for him. Martin Jones
Mhm.
absolutely deserved it in that game. You don't want to go shorthanded and lose the shutout, even if you still win the game. But yeah, I think they didn't really take the bait, which was good to see. I mean, you had Ryan Donato fighting Jake Evans. I think Evans just kind of went after him. Donato really had no choice but to answer the bell there. Yeah, no, I thought they did really well composure wise.
Yeah, I thought they did fantastic. Joshua was hoping to get a done fight for the Gordie Howe hat trick.
Me
Now,
too. That
I
that
know.
was the one exception. As Dunn had a pass, he could fight.
Yes. And I mean, we're still waiting on that first Gordie Howe hat trick for the Kraken, right? Like that's
Yeah, it
am I
would be
wrong?
the
Yeah,
first one in
yeah.
franchise. Yeah, I
That's what I
pointed that
thought.
out on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I
Just
thought.
saying.
And it is one of those things. And Vince Dunn, he is a guy who will drop the gloves. Like we do know that about him. We've seen that from him
Yep.
in his Kraken career. It's going to be a special moment when somebody finally does that. Either that or maybe stick that in Vince Dunn's next contract as an incentive.
If only you could do that. Back in the day, like, with no rules day before the cap, maybe you could have. That would be fun.
Let's see. What kind of contract would you be offering Spronger this offseason from James? That's a tough one. I
That is
like
really tough.
we'll probably have to save that for a podcast alongside Vince Dunn. We'll probably have to do a podcast dedicated to all the guys on expiring deals and what we would do if we were Ron Francis. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of really comps for somebody who's on the power play for you and gets, can score on the power play for you,
Right.
is up there in points per 60, but at the same time, you're keeping him down on the fourth line, for a reason in some ways,
Yeah.
and as a winger. And so it's kind of a tough one.
It
Maybe,
really tough one. And
one and a half.
complicating it is, yeah, maybe 1.5.
Seems
I
like
don't
he's
know.
worth more though, in some
Yeah.
ways.
So I don't know. I mean, because you look at Donato maybe as like the closest kind of comp, I guess, at 1.2 this year. It's tough. More than we can like really discuss in depth here. And also the fact he's an RFA. Like, what do you do with
Right.
that?
I don't know. I think I would probably try to
And
keep
he
the
has arbitration rights. How scared are you of that ARB hearing with
yeah,
those numbers?
you're
I wouldn't be
avoiding
surprised if he's not
arbitration.
qualified.
Yeah, no, you're avoiding arbitration if you can. I think it's hard given his history, but I think I would potentially try to offer years and keep the number down, knowing also the cap should be going up over the next couple of years. So even if you have to kind of go a little high year one, it'll probably even out okay.
Yep.
But it's definitely a conversation to be had more in depth at a different time. But thanks for bringing it up, James.
Yep.
Valentina, love the partnership between Ellie and Dunn. More Finns, more wins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Always.
definitely. Are you kind of where I'm at in chat here? Should I let you handle the French here from Brian?
Yes, just give me a sec because I was just there blocking a bot. I went down to the
Okay,
bottom to block a bot.
doing
So
good work there. Yeah,
let's
thanks
see.
everybody for showing in. 106. That always triggers the bot. So
Yeah, good job. All right, here we go. From Brian. Bon matin, bon midi, et bonne nuit.
beautiful.
That would be good morning, good evening, and good night. Let's go. Yeah, I didn't tweet any French tonight. I should have.
RJ, you had one job on the Twitter.
I know. I got to it last game when Shane Wright scored the goal. I just, I had the French translation of Shane Wright got his first career goal against the Habs, but it was not on it tonight.
Yeah. Super chat here from Bird Krem. Gru needs to play like a starter, else that $6 million contract is going to be a drag for years. What do you think Francis is buying before the deadline? Francis buying before the deadline. We're gonna have probably after my trip up there this next coming week. So not the next deep dive after today, but probably the following one. We're going to have like a really fun trade deadline thing. I know the patrons have already heard the idea, but I'm really looking forward to it. But as far as Grubauer, I mean, Grubauer, in my opinion, since the injury has come back fairly strong. It's just, we talked about today on the deep dive, he doesn't get the goal support. And then also really, I mean, he's played well and Jones has been playing well, but like, I don't know that this game even pushes Jones above 900 save percentage. Like neither goalie is really playing like a starter in some ways. It's just that the rest of the team is playing so well.
Yeah, agreed. And it's just something they're going to have to deal with going forward. And at the end of the day, Grubauer is going to play a big part in this team's crease, over the next 4 years. That's just what's going to be.
Yeah.
For better or
and
worse.
Yeah, and I see Joey here. I hope defense at the deadline, and see our bud with the ditto there. I think defense is certainly going to be something that they're going to have to look at, particularly depending on how the D continues to play as they go on another win streak here. We all know what happened last time with that. But I will say, I'm telling you that the idea we have for the trade deadline stuff and the podcast leading up to the trade deadline, you're all going to be very, very excited for it. It's going to involve all of you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
keep your head up for that one. Let's see. As I come back up here, 5 wins, and we match last season's point total from Sean. We're only 10 points away from all of last year's point total. That is nuts.
Wow.
That is fantastic. Sarah, just finished spamming my partner with donut memes. What a game. That's right, everybody. Gotta do that to Martin Jones. Ty, doing the right things and getting bailed out by Jones on all of their chances. Wonderful. It is true. I mean, there was a couple times where a couple of those shifts where Montreal was able to really get some strong puck movement, able to get guys like a Slafkovsky kind of all alone in the slot, and then Jones had to make some big time saves, but he was there to make those saves.
Yeah, every single time in this game. And that's just, again, the kind of solid goaltending. You need the timely save. Even if it isn't a super busy game for the goalie, you need that timely save every now and again.
Absolutely. Sarah, the Kraken remain undefeated in 2023. That's right. The year of the Kraken still hanging in strong for us. Really, really happy about that. And then the Dalek in here. Windsor Spitfires, eh?
I thought, is that not what I, is that not where what I texted you? I texted you in the game. Windsor, eh?
Yeah. And also there with the, I thought for sure he'd be a knight. Yes. As is tradition, deep dive, parts of it totally irrelevant moments after it's been posted and made live and all of that. Going into the day and even earlier this morning, everything seemed pointing towards London. So I focused on London during the deep dive, talking about, Shane Wright going there. And then of course he ends up Windsor, which originally was the favorite to get him like months ago. And then like disappeared through this whole like World Junior run. Like you just weren't hearing anything about Windsor. And then boom, they were back and he's going to Windsor. So good for him. Lots of great Windsor Spitfires. Obviously Cam Fowler's probably the one I always go to just because of, growing up down here and watching him play with the Ducks, but also guys like Taylor Hall, who actually had his number retired by the Windsor Spitfires. Kind of a fun legacy there. And it's still a really, really good organization. They got great crest on those jerseys. I've always thought it looked really cool. Good name. So wishing Shane Wright lots of luck with them as they hope to go on and win the OHL this season.
Yep.
Tammy, Nashville fans having some sadness regarding Tolvanen. I can imagine there's got to be lots of like, well, why did we waive this guy? Why didn't we trade him, at least get something for him? Or where was this?
Yeah, no, it's something that I imagine would be very frustrating as a Preds fan. I've seen some of that on Twitter too, as we posted all the Tolvanen highlights and whatnot. They're like, how did we let this guy go?
Yeah, it is a question for sure. Trips, maybe we should play road games more often. Hey, I brought that up on the deep dive earlier, although I think I figured it out. We just need the guys to start playing more Mario Kart Win at home. That's the answer.
That's the key. Listen to the deep dive this week. Dylan's got a very interesting theory about why the Kraken are so much better on the road than they are at home.
I was going to say we should probably clip it. It would probably do well.
I have already clipped it. I'm tweeting it tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic. SJ studs the first period, duds the second and third periods. not totally wrong.
Yeah, I mean that kind of does fit with how we were talking at the start of this post game.
Yep. Gregory with the lemon lime Gatorade time, baby. 5 in a row, outscoring our opponents 26-8. So first off, with the lemon lime Gatorade, I am unfortunately going with water tonight because I can't. The amount of lemon lime Gatorade I've had to consume after all these wins, I'm worried about my teeth.
It's all right. I'm chipping in. I got some lemon lime soda here.
All right.
Surprisingly, yeah, it's not what I usually drink, but it's like whatever the Safeway brand of Sprite is.
Oh, I was just gonna have everybody guess what generic brand he chose for his soda tonight.
Well, there you go. I don't remember what it's called.
Well, let us, if you know, let us know.
Oh, here we go.
Down below.
Yeah, it's just lemon lime soda. That's all it's called. Signature Select lemon lime soda.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And then outscoring our opponents 26-8. I mean, I knew it was a lot, but like when you see that number in focus like that, that is, I mean, that's fantastic. I'm running out of like good adjectives to use to talk about this team on this stretch, RJ, because we've already been through a 5-game win streak. We've been through a 7-game win streak. Now we're on another 5-game win streak. Like, I don't know. I guess I just need to pull up thesaurus.com on my computer here when we talk about these games.
Yeah, definitely. We've kind of run out of words where I think we're repeating ourselves a little bit here. But when the Kraken are on, this is what they do, and it's something to marvel at.
Yeah, I feel bad. Like I'm a writer. Like this should be good. Let's see.
Yeah, what's your excuse?
What else can I say? But it's been ludicrous to watch this team.
Keep working, Dylan.
That work. You know, that outscoring our opponents 26-8. You know what that is? That's outlandish. It's outlandish.
Okay, there we go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Keeping it fresh. Help us out with some adjectives in chat.
Sergeant Pickles, hello all. Let's get right to it. Duds, there is no power, merely play. So power, merely play. I love it, Sergeant Pickles. Habs retros results of 2 minutes using MS Paint. Oof. You're not wrong.
I don't like the decision to wear those against the Kraken, who are already like a couple different shades of blue.
Right?
Like if you're against a red team, wear them. But like against the Kraken, it doesn't make any sense.
My sister did that. She texted me. She was like, "Oh, I thought the Kraken were in blue." Like she's like spent like the first half of this game thinking it was the other way around, just because you're just used to thinking that way. You don't think Montreal blue, right?
No, you don't.
No, and then studs here, Spronger and Tolvanen riding the hot hand. Jonesy well-deserved shutout, and then shots. Everybody.
Yes, no, the Kraken with a splendiferous shot total in this game, courtesy of Shoeshine. Thank you for that one.
That is a good one. Devin with the tank for Bedard. I can only hope you mean Montreal. In which case, go for it if you're Montreal, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw tonight, there's not much worth trying to use it. For.
Remember when everybody was like, we already have Nick Suzuki. We don't need another center. It's like,
yeah.
You never need more than one. That's the way it goes. Some lovely emojis here from Top Shelf. Love to see that. Sean, Kraken hit 50 points on April 3rd last year. Holy crud, almost 3 months ahead. Absolutely. I mean, that it kind of puts into perspective not just how well they're playing this year, but also how rough last year was, and what a great job we all did hanging in there together. It does kind of like, it makes me think in some ways on it. It's like, oh wow, that was a really rough season, but then I remember all the fun we had, and it makes me appreciate having this community and going through all that together that much more. Would have been a very lonely experience without all of you, that is for sure. Tolvanen's a stud from Joey. Absolutely. Joshua, the real question, Dylan, how did the face-off battle go? So here's the thing. Kraken were actually destroying them in the face-off battle in the first period. And then they started to do worse because I think they knew that was what was giving the Canadiens strength through the last 40 minutes. So they started losing face-offs. That being said, Kraken still 54-46 advantage tonight. So, you got away with it because Montreal's bad, but you can't be trying this against Tage Thompson tomorrow.
Yep, not going to get away with winning the face-off battle tomorrow.
No, just not at all. I think Kraken started playing defense after started playing defensive. Oh, after
Defensive,
up 3 up.
yeah.
Yeah. Joey there. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Gregory, I think they took their foot off the gas because of having to play Buffalo tomorrow. That's definitely something that could be coming into play there too. I just think that I get it. You're cruising towards a five straight wins, and really with the Kraken, we've seen them. They make adjustments when they're losing, right? Like the losing team, it's kind of like in football going into halftime, right? Generally, it's the team that's losing that makes the better adjustments because it's easier to do that. It's hard to make adjustments when you're winning because it's like, well, this worked, and so you're just trying to guess what the other team does. I think that might have been also what was going on a little bit.
Yeah, only up to go for Montreal after that first period.
Yep. Let's see. From Mark, I wonder how many teams have a losing record when in their reverse retros. I mean, we know ours is atrocious. I got to imagine most people also. It seems like just from us playing them on nights, it doesn't seem good.
No, it doesn't.
Like reverse retro means like turn back the clock to when you were all playing pee-wee hockey, and so you don't know what to do. That's what the reverse is for, right?
Yeah, and real quick, I want to just come to the bottom of chat, just going over
Yeah.
what we talked about with last season. And Joey says, as bad as we were last season, this community was what made last season so special, as far as I'm concerned. So thanks for all you do, Dylan and RJ. Well, thank you, Joey, for being a part of it. And like again,
Absolutely.
it makes all of this so much sweeter with the wins.
Yeah, it really, really does. Gary, with us being at the start of back-to-back, midway through a 7-game road trip, I'm completely fine with us conserving some energy after the first period. Yeah, I mean, it would be like kind of the smart thing to do. And like I said, it works against this Montreal team. And maybe you do it because of that, but that's a risky way of playing long term. That is for sure. Krakenok Jones is clearly the better goalie. Should Ron start teasing the idea of trading away Grubauer for some impact players? Since we are trending towards the playoffs, there are always goalie needy teams. The one thing with that is just Grubauer's contract would be hard to move.
Impossible without attaching some major assets to it. Nobody is going to want that contract.
Yeah. Let me scroll down here. Kraken Spectacore with the super chat here, but no comment. Post a comment. We'll read it.
Yeah, anything you want.
For that, RJ.
We'll do.
I mean, don't make it like dirty. Like we can't read anything you want. We got to keep the channel monetized.
But... All right. Well, he says no message. Lol. Was just gonna say ding dong. It's Daniel Sprong. There we go. That's a good one. Glad you posted that.
See, now we have RJ on record as saying ding dong. It's Daniel Sprong.
Perfect.
I can't imagine that won't come in handy later. Yeah, right. Like we're gonna want that for future. Let's see.
What are you going to do with that, Dylan?
I don't know. Just make it my notifications whenever you text me. That's what I'm going to do with it. She said, honestly, I'm okay with them sleepwalking a bit during the game, given we're playing Buffalo tomorrow. Got to conserve energy for that game, especially when you're up 3-0. So, okay. So a bit consensus here on that idea. Let's see, Joey. I think playing Buffalo had something to do with us taking a foot off their throats. It is. And yeah, and maybe if they didn't have Buffalo and they said the same thing, then maybe more of what I was talking about at the beginning would be, something more to be concerned about. Just the idea of, well, I mean, you could turn it into a whole like clickbaity, terrible YouTube video of do the Kraken lack killer instinct and all sorts of terrible nonsense. But yeah, hopefully that's all it is. And tomorrow they can put up a good fight against the Sabres. Let's see, Alex, important game in Buffalo. Need Grew to be at the top of his game, maybe better. I don't know how you could be better than at the top of your game. But
find new levels.
Let's put it this way. If Grew goes out there and does what he's been doing and the Kraken play like they play in front of Jones, Kraken will be just fine tomorrow.
Yep, exactly.
Let's see. That too many men penalty was frustrating. Can't get cocky with the lead. Discipline all 60 minutes is the habit we want from Tammy. Agreed. I thought that was the one like little thing that was just like, the Daniel Sprong penalty.
I was going to throw that in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are things that we need to keep straight. Can't let ourselves get complacent when it comes to those things. Edward, getting these East Coast road wins ought to put national media on notice that the Kraken are for real this season. For sure. I mean, we've been talking about the Canadian markets as we've gone through there, but you're going into a Buffalo, which while it's not the biggest of places, it does carry some weight in things. It's a pretty long time hockey community, and then as you go into certainly like a Boston later this week, obviously, especially with the way Boston's been playing, that's where you can really kind of have a statement game if the Kraken are up for it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked about kind of national respect. This is the trip to build it, and they're showing up so far.
Yep. All right, RJ, this is a question I'm going to let you handle. How do you explain Jones's transition from one of the worst starting goalies in the league for several seasons with the Sharks to what to what he has become now for the Kraken? Kitty B Kraken wants to know.
I think we start with some questionable defense from the Sharks toward the latter part of Jones' career. It was more than that, though. Jones was also very bad, but I mean, a lot of credit. I give a lot of credit to Steve Briere, the Kraken goalie coach, because Jones wasn't a whole lot better with the Flyers afterward. We forget he had a whole other stop after San Jose, and he didn't post very good numbers there. I mean, his defense was every bit as atrocious as the worst of the Sharks. So I think just having a more solid team play in front of him, I think having that match there of just a team that is not going to give up a whole lot of clean looks, a whole lot of high danger chances, and letting him see pucks. That's so important, is letting Martin Jones see pucks. Because when he can do that and get into a rhythm, he's a much better goalie.
Right. That, and, in the Kraken finally gave him a new glove, so he didn't have a big hole in it. That probably helped a little bit too.
Yeah, I could use that.
Just, I'm trying to check, because the other thing to consider too would just be the burnout that he experienced with the Sharks, right? Like going 65, 65, 60, 62. I mean, those are just the starting numbers, not even how many games he actually played, although that's the same number, I guess, looking at it here. Just the fact that he was going through all of that, and then really that last year with the Sharks, and then in Philly playing less than half of his team's workload would have helped him kind of recharge for a couple seasons too. And maybe that's also partly what we're seeing here. Just going to throw that one out there. Andrew Jones says, no, side note, are you guys bringing any merch to the live event Saturday? I'm wanting one of those deep dive hoodies. We have some surprises to bring, some good stuff. Not too much when it comes to the actual merch, though, just because it's always hard. Like, you never know what size somebody's going to want or anything. And we don't really have the budget to like buy a bunch of inventory and then kind of sit on it. But we do have some stuff to be giving away. I don't know if we want to announce what they are, we should make it a surprise.
Well, let's just say we have some exciting giveaways coming up. Merch might be involved.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we can leave it at that. And again, there's always a link is always to our store is always in the description below.
Yeah,
well.
I will say this, because I've already gotten to see them and stuff, and I will say that Hockey Mom, RJ's mom, made some really cool things that we're going to be giving away if you are a pet owner. I will throw that one out there. I think you pet owners would be interested in what your mom's got going for us here.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to throw that one out there. That's as much as I'll give away. JMG, so excited to go to the Super Skills Challenge. First time seeing Climate Pledge. Will ECH be doing anything special for the Skills Challenge?
All right. So I'm thrilled for the Super Skills Challenge too. I will be there covering the Super Skills Challenge, kind of like I did last season. I'm gonna, be covering all the events. If you can't make it, also try and make you feel like you're there. Use my outrageous camera zoom to capture all the events as best I can. Of course, we'll be talking to the players afterward too. That was really fun last year because everybody's just in a great mood. Everyone's loose. Everyone's hanging out. We're gonna get some fantastic quotes, I am sure. And then this is another thing where I'm not sure if I can say a whole lot, but there might be some content coming out that might be related to a skills challenge type of thing. So keep your eye out for that in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, and thank you for the super chat, JMG. I will also say, deep dive, we'll talk about it, and then maybe we'll also do. I think we did this last year. I'd be open to doing it again, where we the week before it kind of lay out, and take our guesses as to who will do what in the different challenges and stuff.
Yes, that'll be fun.
So there will be that kind of stuff going on. Becca saying that the NHL Twitter account actually gave us love tonight. That is good. See, winning in Canada on the East Coast, starting to get the kudos
beyond
already.
Just Matty Beniers' suit, because I saw that one.
Oh, let's see. When did Bjorky take that chin protector off? Maybe he should have kept it a little longer from Valentina. I know that was brutal having to see that happen to him today. Hopefully he doesn't need to put it back on because he has been, you know what I mean, like playing really well since it's been taken off.
Yeah, he has. I mean, players hate that. You'd like to keep it off as much as you can.
Yeah. Let's see.
Got a super chat here from Sergeant Pickles.
Go ahead and read it.
When we doing a live viewing party at the beer hall with toddlers? You block out schedules a month in advance. Well, it's not quite a month in advance, but we do have, and this is a good way to bring this up. We do have, there you go, Dylan. We have a live watch party and a live post game. So this ECH post game live will be live in person with me and Dylan. You'll get to ask us questions for real, not just over YouTube this time. We'll also have the YouTube stream going, I think. But it's going to be a great event at Queen Anne Beer Hall, Saturday, January 14th. So this coming Saturday, if you can make it, it's not fully a month out. I understand with the toddlers, but go if you can. And then again, on Monday, January 16th, it is a home game, that 1 p.m. start home game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Dylan and I will be at the game, covering the game, but right afterwards, we're going to do our media thing and we're going to run over to Queen Anne Beer Hall. We're going to do a live post-game show, have post-game live there at the beer hall again, and it's going to be a great time. So if you can make it out to either of those, please come. We'd love to see you, Sergeant Pickles.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be able to shake your hand, put a face to the name, all that good stuff. And it should be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that, everybody. Let's see here. Let's try to do some speed runs through the comment section.
I know we got so much in chat.
So much tonight. I know. Aaron, good day, everyone. Kraken is really playing well. Good structure while still scoring goals. Jones and net gives them a solid chance, but Grew really needs to find form. Yeah, I mean, it is weird. Like numbers wise, Grew and Jones aren't that far apart from each other, whether you're looking at advanced stats or not. This is interesting.
Yeah, it's just the team in front of them.
Just wins. Let's see. January 2022. How amazing would it be if the Kraken won 3 in a row? I remember those days, Edward. I do.
How long we waited for that.
Yes. Let's see. Tammy, guess I'm rooting for Edmonton tonight. Who's Edmonton playing? Am I missing something here?
Let's see.
The Kings. Yeah. Got to kind of catch up for second in that division.
That's the team to root for.
Yeah. KDB Kraken asking how you did in goal for Lindsay the other day.
Did all right. We won 3-1. Talked about the goal I allowed earlier. But otherwise pretty good. But I mean, the team in front of me played so well. I think I only faced like 15 shots, if that.
So like Martin Jones tonight.
Had a Martin Jones of a game, that's for sure.
There we go. See, aren't you glad that means something totally different now than it did a couple of years ago?
Yep.
Edward contrasting the previous statement with this one, January 2023, a 5-game win streak. Just Kraken doing Kraken things.
Yep.
Year difference, really. Hopefully it stays this way for a while. We don't keep oscillating. That would be nice. Let's see. I'm honestly expecting a loss tomorrow, not because of Grew, but because the Sabres are red hot. I mean, it is going to be kind of two hot teams running into each other. And yeah, the Sabres have that motivation after today's loss.
Yeah, it'll be a good test, though. Chance for a statement win.
Yep. Joey pointing out, again, not only are the Kraken undefeated this year, but the Kraken are 3-1 in live commentary games.
That's true. That's a pretty good record. And I picked that one. I thought it'd be a pretty good game, and the Kraken have done well against Buffalo historically too.
Yeah. So again, just a reminder, join us tomorrow if you're a patron. Otherwise, check it out with the link in the description below. Yep. Catherine, I'm just waiting for Dunn to get the first franchise Gordie Howe. I do think he has to be the favorite at this point, right?
I think so. Yeah. Given how he's playing. Yeah.
I'd almost put it as like him, Donato, and then the field.
I'd put Yanni Gordon there somewhere.
How often does Yanni Gordon actually get credited with a fight? Like, yeah, he gets
fair enough. It's all just yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how often he actually gets into a fight. But like that from Catherine there. Let's see. What do you think about the Shane Wright trade? I think Shane Wright's going to a good team in the OHL. I'd have to pull up like their exact spot in the standings right now, but Windsor is a good franchise. I know that they've been long rumored to get him in all of this. They've been a team that's been hanging around and playing really well. So I'm excited for him, and I really hope that he gets to have a long playoff run in hopes of getting to that Memorial Cup. And then we'll see where he's at, depending on how long that goes when it comes, to the Kraken potentially being able to bring him back, depending on where they're at and what their needs might be at the time. Windsor, top of their division in that West division right now, 23-9-3 record. I mean, they're crushing it. 161 goals for, 135 against. So my guess is they're bringing in Shane Wright. Unlike London, which had a nice, healthy goal differential, Windsor probably bringing him in, not just to be like another additional scoring threat and stuff for them, but probably also to help out defensively. It seems like just with this very, very cursory view of things, maybe is something that Windsor needs to work on a little bit. And we know from his stint at the World Juniors, Shane Wright can really bring that defense and help out a club in that way, help shut down opposing top teams and top players and stuff. So should be fun for him. And like I said, Windsor's got great jerseys, so it's all good.
Yep, that's what matters most.
That's all we cared about. And he didn't go to London, which is the evil empire. That also helps. I think Slavkovsky was the best Hab on the ice this game. It was interesting. I did notice him a lot. He made some good plays, RJ. That being said, there were still some times in the offensive zone where I was like, see, this is the Slavkovsky I knew was going to show up in the NHL and kind of struggle at times.
There were some rookie moments for him for sure, but you still saw, some explosive skill there. I mean, Cole Caulfield, though, I noticed him. He's so good.
Cole Caulfield is good, and if it wasn't for him whiffing on one timer, I mean, Jones probably doesn't have that shutout. So it was a good one there. Let's see. I'm excited for Thursday's game against the Bruins from Joey. Absolutely, that one should be a lot of fun. I really, like I said, that's a chance to make a statement, have a statement game, even if you don't get the win. If you can push the Bruins, like nobody's really been able to do that this year. If you can even just push the Bruins, I think that means a lot in the eyes of many. Let's see. I think McDavid is lots of talking here about McDavid and whether or not he can kind of drag Edmonton to the playoffs this year or not. We'll see. He's trying. He's doing everything one human being could possibly do.
He dragged him to the conference finals last year. Never doubt it.
That is true. Brian, ready to cheer for a win by Gru. He's rested and ready for sure. I think Grubauer is going to come out tomorrow with something to prove, RJ. He has, just as we've all been talking about this and taking note of how everything seems to go down and go Martin Jones's way, you have to know Philip Grubauer has been noticing the same thing.
Oh yeah, and he's a competitive guy. He always wants to be, the best that he can, and just seeing this happen too, he wants just a chance to get back in the net to prove that he belongs there.
Oh, absolutely. Valentina Dunn was hilarious in his intermission interview, talking like he's Tolvanen's father and teaching him to shoot. He's only 3 years older. That is one of the best parts about the NHL, RJ, is how you can get guys that are just a couple years older, but because of, having that much more experience at the NHL level, someone like Vince Dunn having gone through, won a Stanley Cup, doing all of that kind of thing. It is funny how they can kind of take on that role, and they do. They talk about them like they're kids or something, and it feels almost natural because of that experience difference.
Yeah, definitely. But it's fun. I love to see that. Just he's so proud of him.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. He deserves to be. Tolman is looking fantastic right now. Ronnie Francis on his way to GM of the year, might have to suffer through some hack considerations as well. Well, get out of here, Ty. Get out of here. Let's see. I got to stand up for my boy Hackstall. Justin Tolvey could have fought too. He was on deck for Gordie Howe and we wouldn't be down a defensive guy for the PK. That is true. Tolvanen could have gone in there as well. I don't know if Tolvanen's a fighter though. I
have no recollection of him as a fighter at any point, but you never know. You'll always see surprise guys drop in the midst sometimes.
Yeah. Valentina, P.S. big ups for Dunn for all his progress he's made on his interview skills. I feel like the Kraken, everyone has gotten better on the Kraken. I don't know if they're doing like team training or if they're all just feel more comfortable now, year 2, or maybe it's just Piper. I mean, she's fantastic doing those interviews too.
Oh yeah, she definitely is, and it's also the kind of thing that you couldn't really do last season because of all the COVID restrictions too. I think that's just part of it. It's this very distanced, almost robotic type of interaction that you have to have last year with everyone being so separated, and then this year with it being back to normal. It's just night and day.
Yep, Valentina, I love the reference to Francis being the best at winning faceoffs with his feet.
That's good.
It is still mind-blowing to me, RJ, that a team run by Ron Francis struggles with faceoffs this much. It just doesn't line up in my brain at all. Yeah, Joey pointed out neither of our goalies are at 900 save percentage. That is rough. It is rough. That being said, what's the average so far this year? It's like a 905 league wide. Like,
yeah,
goaltending,
905 is the league average. So you got to
yeah.
adjust our expectations there.
Yeah, it's no longer the days where that's like 915 or something. Let's see. Some more talk about how well everybody's doing. Jonesy with the 921 during this 5-game win streak, though, so he is bringing things up. Rebecca, birthday donuts for Jones tomorrow. Is Martin Jones' birthday tomorrow?
Oh yeah, you know what? I think it is.
All right.
I actually, my mom was kind enough to make me a little calendar of the player birthdays.
Let's get that going.
There we go.
And
I'm looking for it.
I'm sure
it's
sick. That is good. That is good. Gets the day off. Gets to enjoy having that shutout.
Yes, that is tomorrow. Happy early birthday to Martin Jones.
Absolutely. Coop, how about Brad Lambert getting added to the active roster for the Thunderbirds? Lots of WHL big trades going on in the greater Seattle area there, kind of RJ. Obviously the Zellweger trade from Everett up to Kamloops, and then Brad Lambert coming to join the Thunderbirds for their run this year.
I'm loving this junior hockey arms race. It is going to be such a fun home stretch to the season, and playoffs and Memorial Cup. This is like the most excited I've been for a junior hockey season, maybe ever.
Yeah, and so again, everybody, remember, if you're in the kind of greater Seattle area, in these places that we're talking about, Kent, Everett, you've got junior hockey, and you've got fantastic junior hockey to go and see games, especially with the Thunderbirds this year. We've been talking about it. They are totally arming up for a Memorial Cup run this year. I would go and see the games while you can, because it's a really good team that you get to watch there. Let's see. We just need to lose face-off battle and we win. Absolutely. Although tonight's an exception. Why didn't the Habs put in a waiver claim on Tolvanen when he was available? Thank God we got him from Daniel. Yeah, I mean, what, 20 teams had to pass on him for us to get him?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really tweet about Tolvanen much when he was waived because I figured there was no chance the Kraken could get him, even if they had interest.
Yeah, it was surprising. I'm seeing Cooley level of defense out of Tolvanen with a massive upside on scoring and being a threat. I like Cooley, but dang, let's go Tolvy from Ty. I agree. I think it's a very similar thing. They have a very similar style of game. Tolvanen a little bigger, gets to be a little bit more physical, or at least, Kuhlman can be physical, but it means a little more when it comes from Tolvanen, I guess we'll say, just because of having that extra size behind it. And then, he does. He has a significantly more offensive upside, but I think that's why we're seeing him gel so well with Yanni Gourde, is just having that north-south style of game.
Yep. Great to see guys you can just plug in there too.
Yep. Let's see. Start a new tradition. When the Kraken get on the ice at home, the crowd just boo like crazy. Get them in that road mindset. That would be like, in a weird way, like that would be like a really cool kind of thing that you're like known for. Like maybe it doesn't work for Seattle, but like that sounds like something that, like, if the Yankees didn't have the history that was associated with the Yankees, like that would just be like the Bronx thing you did, was you just always booed your team, no matter if they were good or not. Yeah, that's just what you do, and it's just like your own little fun special inside joke or something. Alex pointing out all 3 games that have finished tonight have been shutouts. Wow, that's kind of wild, actually.
Wow. Yeah, shutout city over here.
All right. It just jumped down on me on the thing, but there's just so many comments here. Kraken also took a Finn, Yanni Newman, with the pick they got for Lauzon. Kraken getting all the Finns from Nashville. Bryce pointing out, I didn't even realize that was that pick, but yeah, that is nice. Bruins, the Preds, and the Kraken are the only 3 teams undefeated in 2023. Interesting. So we've talked about the Bruins already tonight. We were just talking about the Preds. I guess the Preds aren't missing Tolvanen.
I guess not. I mean, always the more the merrier as far as good players, but they're doing pretty well.
Here we go. Andrew giving us the update from the hockey guy. All the people saying, is Seattle for real? Yes, they are for real. There we go. Hockey guy back on board.
Finally.
As Alex points out, hockey guy changes his tune yet again. Let's see. The Habs Blue unis did prompt an extended game of remembering some expos from Forsland and Olczyk. Yes, that was kind of fun, and that was kind of neat. But it's just one of those things. I get Shoeshine, if you're old enough, you think Montreal Blue Expos. Yeah, and I get that. And I think I talked about that on the Red Glare Patreon exclusive podcast when we went over all of them. I talked about, how like in the 70s, like all these teams in baseball just had powder blue uniforms for seemingly no reason, like the Cardinals and the Reds. They just went powder blue instead of white. I don't know if it was a TV thing or what, but
which was the style at the time.
Yeah, it was just what everybody did, and the Expos were one of those teams. And so it is kind of interesting to see that bleed over into the hockey team a little bit. Let's see. From Lights here, good win. Glad we got payback. Interesting that both shutouts were 4-0 wins. I think it's also safe to say we have fleeced the Preds 2 seasons in a row. First Lauzon, now Ellie Golvanen.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, hey, keep making moves with the Preds there. I haven't checked how Lauzon's doing, but I feel like it was really good. We would have heard something about it.
I feel like Yanni Newman's probably on a better track.
Let's just say that. Yeah,
I think I feel safe in saying that. Let's see. Our final reverse retro game is against Boston, so we could go 0-4 from Justin. That is potentially on the table, but how epic would it be to turn all of that around? One win over Boston would be worth those 3 rough games earlier on.
Yep. No, take all the reverse retros off the burning heap and put them back on.
Yep. So we've won every game we've played since having Tolvanen in. Is he our new good luck charm? From Nicole. Yeah, RJ, is it that? Is it the new year? Is it just the fact that they're back on the road doing their road stuff? Like, I mean, what do you think it is here?
I guess we'll figure out as time goes on if they lose a game without one of those things. I don't know. But there's so much that's going right. And when you do have a new player in the lineup like that, I think the players get excited. They want to keep that momentum going. They want to play for him. Heck, look at Vince Dunn. Look at how he talks about Ellie Tolvanen. You don't think Vince Dunn's trying that extra little bit harder just to get Ellie Tolvanen some goals? Come on.
Yeah. Let's see. Tolvanen finish for undefeated in 2023, probably, from Brian. That is true.
Run that through Google Translate.
Let's see. Kyle, from back when we were talking about how nice it was to have us all together in a community through last season's and all the rough patches there. Kyle, I on the other hand found you all this season, so I was just soloing loss after loss.
Oh.
I can only imagine how brutal that must have been, Kyle. But thankfully, you're in the fold now. You're with us all now, and so we can all enjoy this high together with you included, as the team is better this year.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Rebecca asking, did everyone see the 91 Ding Dong jersey on Twitter? Love it.
Yes, that was great. Did you see that one, Dylan?
No, I didn't. I'm hardly on Twitter anymore. I'm always on the Discord.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so I think it may have been posted on there too. But someone got a Kraken jersey, number 91, Ding Dong on the back. That's pretty cool.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see. Daniel, all right, it's time. I got time. It's bedtime. Got to be up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Good night, Daniel. Thanks for joining us. Roberts, how do you guys feel about Oliver Bjorkstrand's play? I feel like Bjorkstrand finally, with this kind of current combination, is playing like the Oliver Bjorkstrand we expected. You saw it on that goal he had a couple games back where he kind of plays an east-west style of game and goes across the slot there, picks up the puck and scores it. I feel like having a Tolvanen and a Yanni who both want to be north-south opens up that east-west opportunity for him, which is more of what he wants to be able to do, is kind of move laterally there and move around into different spots in the lower part of the offensive zone there. And I like the work that he does behind the net. I like the work he does battling for pucks in the corners. Like I do like Oliver Bjorkstrand's play. And even though he wasn't scoring goals, it wasn't for lack of effort.
Yeah, and it's good to see him finally get rewarded here, as this line has just really found the kind of synergy they're looking for. And I think you described it pretty well as far as what he's doing play style wise.
Yes. Ethan's Tech World. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. How's it going, Ethan's Tech World? Let's go Kraken. Great weekend for Seattle sports. I still haven't gotten my Matty Beniers jersey. Now is this the same Matty? is this the same thing as over on Discord? Let me know if you're that same person who's been talking about that or not. Uh, and hopefully, if you are, then that situation gets resolved, because I know that's been rough. Let's see. Let's see. Guru needs to be at the top of someone else's game from Kyle.
Oh, that's rough.
Let's see. Shoeshine. Honestly, the pressure is off for the rest of the road trip a little bit. Toughest road trip of the season. And even were they to lose the rest of the games of the trip, they're on a net positive from Shoeshine. I mean, there is something to be said for that. I do think, and I certainly think that helps with something like a tomorrow night's game, where it is a back-to-back. Feel like, okay, we've won 4 in a row. It takes a little bit of that kind of like, oh, we need this game away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to be gripping your sticks too tight, especially on the second half of a back-to-back. Being able to kind of cruise into it and know that you can play your game helps.
Yep. Some love for Steve Briere from Tammy there.
Yep.
Let's see. As we come up towards the end here, Bryn Krema didn't think Wright could be called up after OHL season, hence the goal to find him a team going deep. He technically can be brought up. The only thing is he's already played the 9 games that you're allowed without burning a year of his entry-level contract. So if the Kraken were to bring him back up and he was to play another game for them, you're burning that year of the contract. And so the whole point of sending him back is that you're not doing that, but nothing stops them from at any time calling him up and playing him if they decide that they want to for some reason.
Yep.
I really don't think they will, and I don't think they're going to have a need for him either. We've talked about how many forwards they already have, but it's not like a rule issue that would keep it from happening. It's strictly like a contractual one, and wanting to keep that extra year of team control and everything going. Daryl, second and third periods a little soft, but overall great game. Happy for Gordo and Spronger playing well in front of friends and family. Newly configured third line, a great boost in overall speed across the board. Absolutely. I don't even need to break anything down there, Daryl. You just said it all perfectly.
Yep.
Why was Philip Grubauer not on the bench? Joey wants to know. Is Montreal one of the... He wasn't on the bench?
I don't know. Now I don't remember, but there are some arenas that don't have enough room on the visitors bench for the goalie, so they'll just be in the tunnel or somewhere else.
Yeah, usually they're back in the tunnel a little bit. Wasn't it the old Montreal arena where they had to sit in the stands?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was that way growing up. It was that way at SAP Center too, where the Sharks played. The goalie would sit kind of in the tunnel, but like all around the fans. You see the fans talking to him sometimes.
Yeah. Rebecca, the dog calendar is very helpful for birthdays. Lol, that dog calendar is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's see. From Al here. Oh my God, stop it, Seattle. Canada is really gonna hate you now. Cheers from Edmonton once again. Can't wait for our 3rd game with you. I can't wait for it either. Should be a good rubber match.
Oh yeah, no, thanks for stopping in, Al. Too. It's nice we pick up some fans from these other teams along the way.
For sure. Joey asking if Seattle's in a playoff spot. Yes, we are. We're sitting. Let's scroll down in that 3rd spot in the Pacific. Top 3 teams in each division will make the playoffs, and then there's also 2 additional wild cards per conference as well. But right now, the Kraken's sitting in one of those 3 Pacific spots that would get the bid. And keep in mind, still got games in hand on the Kings in front of them and Vegas in front of them too. Like technically, that's even still in play mathematically for them, very much so. So
yeah, if they win the games in hand, they're right there.
Yep. All right. The Powder Blues back now in baseball along with the Blue Pants. John's letting me know. I don't understand why it doesn't, like, why it ever was there. I don't get it. Absurdly saying I'm still waiting for someone to explain to me what the reverse means, and reverse retro seems redundant. The primary and secondary colors are reversed, as Brian is saying there. It's double negative. Someone else. Let's see. Want Daniel Sprong like a phenom no, it's want. Wasn't Daniel Sprong like a phenom? Yeah, not quite as heavily hyped because he was a 2nd round pick. I think he fell to the 2nd round.
He was a 2nd round pick. Pittsburgh. I have video of your live reaction to that pick.
Yeah, and but yes, he was a highly touted prospect coming in from the QMJHL, where numbers need to be taken with a grain of salt. Daniel Sprong would be another player to kind of add into that long history. But yeah, he was considered a offensively a first round talent. There were concerns about the overall aspects of his game, which is eventually why he found himself as just like a toss in piece from Washington to us last season. But to his credit, he's really worked hard this offseason to try to improve those aspects of his game, try to lose that kind of stigma attached to him as a player while keeping that offensive side of things. And he's being rewarded for it.
Yeah. And also as a draft prospect, when you see that kind of size, speed, shot combo, GMs just start salivating, and I understand why.
Lindsay letting us know Billy Borgen got the Davy Jones hat tonight. I got to think it's for that no stick takedown he had.
Yes, that was awesome.
That was
Goes in with the stick, loses it, bam, flips the guy over. That was awesome.
Let's see. Ethan Tech World, different person than on Discord. Okay. But wow, saying, and that's a name I haven't heard in a long time, makes me feel like some kind of legend. I'm the guy way back when I was debating between a Beniers or Tanev jersey. I haven't been in the chat in a long time. I know I haven't seen you in a while, but you were definitely there with us last season through a lot of those tough games and stuff. So I remember everybody. I really do. Except for those that I forgot. Those ones I don't remember. But I remember everybody else. And yeah, we had some good stuff. And there's still time. You're going to have plenty of time to get a Beniers jersey too, by the way. He's going to be around for a long, long time. Let's see. Rebecca, sorry for the disembodied wings. I don't know why my comment keeps not posting with it.
Well, wink right back at you.
Yeah,
disembodied wink right back at you.
There you go. All right, everybody. We went 10 minutes over because we were just having that much fun. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this one. And that's a yogiism, lol, for my mom there. Yes, that's right. It probably is a yogiism. If not, it's very much in line with one. Me remembering everybody except for those that I've forgotten.
Yep.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all for joining us for this. We're going to be right back at it tomorrow. And just a reminder one last time, that tomorrow night is our Patreon live commentary game. If you are a Terror of the Deep tier member patron over on Patreon, get to join us. We watch the game all together. We always have a lot of fun doing it. And then we'll be back right here, same spot, same time, or loosely. The game starts a half hour earlier tomorrow, so it'll be a little earlier. But we'll be right back at this all tomorrow with the post-game live. Can't wait to see you all again for that one. And let's go Grubauer. Let's go Grubauer, yes. Everybody think positive thoughts Grubauer's way this next little bit. And we'll see you all tomorrow night.